Hey, good afternoon. Morgan SLV here. June 1st, 2010. Let's go over silver for just a few seconds. We have silver at 1779, just dropped down another tick. Gold itself is at 1201, dropped about 36 bucks. Nice little dip today. Might even have to go out and buy some more silver myself. I want to go over a couple of things with you. One of the things that I see that's going on, in the world community right now, is that more and more people that are holding U.S. dollars, such as the Chinese, are getting more and more uncomfortable with what they see, with what we're doing with our, what we're planning to do to pay off our debt, which is basically monetize it, or quantitative easing, as they call it. They're getting a little nervous, and I would be too. If I was sitting there and if I was a wealthy individual in China or one of these other countries that hold a lot of American dollars, I'm going to get a little concerned when the printing press is just frickin' running like it's going to throw a rod. It's turning so many RPMs. That's for me as an American, that scares me. I could imagine what it feels like to be a Chinese citizen or part of the Chinese government. They're sitting there going, wow, what are we going to do with these dollars? So that to me is just a sign that the world community, being as that the U.S. dollar is the world's reserve currency, they understand what we're doing. These people aren't stupid. These people know what's going on. There's people in the know. There's people that are trying to ease out of the dollar and ease into other assets such as gold and silver without anybody kind of looking. I mean, I know if I was the Chinese, I wouldn't want everybody to know, I plan on dumping, I plan on buying another 10 metric tons of gold today. I'd want to do it as secretly as possible. So I find that kind of interesting. Another thing that I want to talk to you guys about is this. As you know, I'm a big proponent of trying to teach people another way other than having jobs, especially in this economic times where you can get laid off at any moment. Things can happen where, if your hands don't show up to work, you don't make any money. And for what the reason really doesn't matter. And I just want to save as many people as I can, from losing their homes. And if they already have, which a lot of my friends and family already have lost their homes, try to show them a way out of the hole. Interestingly enough, I met a guy last night and started off conversation with him, and he says, I watch Chris Martenson a lot. Have you ever heard of him? I said, absolutely. The guy's pretty concise. What he talks about is how money creation and peak oil reserves and all that kind of stuff. He says it in layman terms so you can kind of understand it. I found that pretty interesting. And before we left, I gave him a business card. I told him about the company called Site Build It and how to make money online. His wife's job's getting kind of shaky, and he doesn't work. He's a stay-at-home dad. And so I'm kind of paying it forward, so to speak. I know there's lots of people out there that might say, well, the way you're doing it isn't the correct way. Well, but it's a way, and I have a pure heart when I talk to people. I don't lie to them. I don't deceive them. I always tell them to double check anything that I say, to make sure that they feel comfortable going ahead and maybe purchasing some silver or trying to start a business online or watching their real estate go to zip, that kind of stuff. I just want to make sure that people know that I am absolutely believe in you get enough people what they want and you'll get what you want. I just believe that, and it's something I've always believed, and it's worked out pretty good for me so far. The other thing I want to talk to you about is a thing I found kind of interesting. In 1980, when gold hit $8.50 an ounce, you could buy an average price brand spanking new home in the U.S. for 1,000 ounces of silver, roughly. So let me say that again. For 1,000 ounces of silver in 1980, 79.80, you could buy a brand new house, cash. You could cash out. So let's connect the dots here for a second. Over the last, I would say 45 days, we've probably run anywhere from $20,000 to $30,000 through the little bullion shop here that I'm kind of associated with. And the thing is this, one of the things that I tell people is, look, how much different would your personal finances be if you had no house payment or no rent? I mean, mine's $22.50 a month. So on just one of my homes, I have one that's paid off and one that I'm purchasing. So I'm underwater on the one that I'm purchasing, and the one that's paid off, you know, is fallen in value by, I don't know, 150,000, maybe 200,000. I don't know. I've stopped looking at this point. But I can tell you this, that in the future, I plan to have my residence paid off, a residence paid off for any one of my family members that wants to take advantage of what's going to happen. Because here's the deal. What they're calling for the next go-around is not 1,000 ounces of silver for an average-priced American home, brand new. They're talking 500 or less. Because of all this quantitative easing and all this money creation, there's a chance that could happen. Now, can I guarantee that? Absolutely not. But what if it does happen? What if history does repeat itself like it did in the 80s? If you're on the right side of the fence, you could go out and buy a house for you. You know, I plan to be able to buy anywhere from 10 to 20 properties, cash when this is all over. Now, can it blow up in my face? Absolutely. But I have thought about it, I've prayed about it, I've researched about it, and I am as comfortable as I can possibly be about my game plan. That's my secondary game plan. My initial game plan at this point is to learn how to spin off cash from other businesses, which I'm doing now online. So what I'm telling you is research it, and research it well. Research what's going on with the money creation at the Fed and how the quantitative easing. Learn what that means. Once again, study the people that I've mentioned before. DaVinci J15 is a good resource. Peter Schiff, Mike Maloney, Robert Kiyosaki. I've even had some people blogging on my commenting on my site. They're snake oil salesmen. You know what? Really, I don't believe that. I mean, you can look back at their records on YouTube. Yeah, Peter Schiff's dad. I knew that he'd been in jail. I knew that. I read his dad's book, The Federal Mafia, and he is correct. Income tax is illegal the way they're collecting it. So, you know, does that mean I don't pay? No, I don't want to go to jail. You know, my theory is this. One of the things that I used to say when I had my cab company, we were pumping about $15,000 a month. I used to tell my dad, we need to learn the game better than them, meaning the government. So, you know, for whatever reason, that company survived for 10 years, and I got beat up all the time. I was on quarterly taxes and always worried about all the damn paperwork I got to fill out. It's ridiculous. Bottom line is that's the game we're playing. That's their game. We all bought a ticket, being an American. So my theory is, you know, get on the right side of this gold and silver thing, put on your seatbelt, and let's go for the ride. I mean, what else are you going to do? You're going to save it in American dollars? Really? You're going to put it in your 401k? Look up Jason Hummel and see what he talks about, what the government's getting ready to do with 401ks. And what he's telling me is they're getting ready to shear the sheep. So, you know, and I read the article, and I've had trouble finding it as of late. I'll look for it again. But they're talking about, you know, he's saying there's more chance that they'll confiscate your retirement program than they would your gold or silver, because that's where all the money is. So think about that. Unfortunately for most people, by the time they realize their retirement program didn't work, it's too late. At 69 years old, 70 years old, what, are you going to go back to work? Get retrained? Give me a frickin' break, man. You guys need to get on board with this thing. Don't take my word for anything. I am a humble person in that respect. Just read. Doesn't cost much. You can even go to the library and check these books out for free, right? So bottom line is, this is Morgan SLV. I just want to make sure that the American public, that I can reach as many of you as possible to at least spur you on to get more information. We'll see you next time.